Video games. I like them. As if my wall full of cheap plastic or my digital purchase didn't say enough, video games are my passion. They've always been a part of my life, and when it comes down to it, every year I rank every game that I played for that year. Every year since 2021, I've started a tradition. Rank every game I ever played for that year, and that's about it. I sort of do this to track how many games I've crossed off my backlog and just knowing what I enjoy. So now, here's my 2024 edition. Now then, these aren't solely ranking games that were released in 2024, it's just ones that I played. Except counting games like Smash Bros, Splatoon 3, and literally every other game that I played for the past couple of years, because I don't count breathing as eating food. Also, something to add is that earlier this year, I hacked my Wii U and I got a lot of games added. So this was also a huge reason why I wanted to make this video. So, here I have all of the games that I played this year with plenty of digital releases on my PS5, Wii U, and Nintendo Switch. All ranked based on how much I enjoyed them. S++ tier are games I hold close to me personally. They're my top 5 favorite games of all time, and therefore I see them specifically in that area of my favorites. Whereas the base S tier games are some of my favorite games too, but there's just something holding them back from being an all-time favorite. Whether it's controls, time, mechanics, just smaller things about the game that, while I still love it, keeps it from being a top 10. A tier has higher than average games that I enjoy. I enjoy them thoroughly, some I consider favorites, but I'm more sort of like, these games are fun, they're amazing, but I don't plan on going back to them soon. And the biggest tier, B tier. The games here are my sliced bread games. Games I think I couldn't offend anyone if I placed them there. Whether it's games I've beaten, unbeatable, or games I'm still trying out and I still want to continue in. C tier is lower than average. I don't mind going back to these games, but I'm not exactly looking forward to doing it. It also holds games that just don't really click with me, but I am willing to put up with them if I have to. And D tier has games that I generally don't enjoy. I don't have any reason to go back to them soon, and I certainly won't soon. And if you're asking, F tier would have been in some of the worst games I've ever played category. Now you might be wondering if I'm going to start from the bottom or the top. But what if I throw a curveball? I'm going to start at the middle. It sounds stupid, but let's be real. No one cares about the middle. They're either too focused on what's going on at the bottom or the top. If there's something in the middle, you don't offend anyone. So, starting off, Splatoon 3 Side Order. Now, don't get your britches up and being upset that DLC is coming up for this list, because this is the only DLC I have on here. And for the entire single player mode of Side Order, I am so mixed. Side Order is both one of the best Splatoon modes and the worst. On one hand, there's not as much lore this time. Her and Marina smooch each other way more than they should, like, guys. We get it. And the story is pretty weak. But on the other hand, they put my favorite character in the game here. If you don't know me, I love Deadfish and Auto Expansion. The lore for her sanitization, how her music is telling a story with emotion behind it. I love Deadfish. It's just a shame that she doesn't really do much. I mean, she holds the elevator and that's about it. But on the other hand, my god, this is so much better than Auto Expansion. I am a simple person. I played Hades once, and now Roguelikes are in my blood. And my god, I love how replayable Side Order is. Auto Expansion always had that jarring feeling of picking where to go. Side Order feels like a mode where it's encouraging you to go as batshit insane as you want. And I would know, snipers. So what could stand next to Side Order? I am now on a list. Yeah, I guess in order to prepare for Sonic Movie 3, I decided to tackle a bunch of Sonic games that I had yet to play. Those being Sonic 06, Project 06, Shadow the Hedgehog, Free Riders, Adventure 2 Battle, Lost World, Unleashed, and Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. And Sonic Boom, while I haven't beaten it, I've actually kind of enjoyed it. Maybe it's because I know the game is bad or how hilarious the game is to replay. Not the worst thing ever, but it has charm that I can't describe yet. Well, how about instead of that, I play... I swear to God, if I see cosmic voting intent, I'm putting this game into F tier. Mario Party Superstars. I played this game earlier this year. I think the rage makes my point very clear. And then I got this as a gift from Arctic Byte. And again, I think it's alright. My main problem with Mario Party Superstars is how it's not for people like me. I vastly prefer the single player mode to Mario Party because schedules suck. And I live in a house full of people who hate to play Mario Party with me. It's why I personally enjoyed 8 the most, which, by the way, only has too many games here. Playing Mario Party alone is the same as going to a prom by yourself with no friends. Superstars is a fine game, I just need a reason to go back to it more. Next up is Streets of Rage 4. I bought this a few years ago, and I kinda just forgot about it. So seeing it prompted me to finally play it. This is going to be a trend for this entire video. But I played it, I beat it, and yep, it's certainly Streets of Rage. There's only 12 stages, the ending was hell, but I overall liked it. The themes are nice, the city aesthetics are pleasing, and what's more pleasing is that I played Duck Simulator. Placid Duck Simulator is a game where you sit around a pool and you look at ducks. Yep, that's all you do. And as for my favorites, I have Twitter, Jaws, Limit to Me Fury, and A Bad Time. Now then, here are 2 games I'm sure won't offend anyone for being in B tier. I think I'm going to hell. So Half-Life 2 went free on Steam, and I had to Resident Evil 4 on my Wii U, and while I haven't beaten them, first impressions are iffy. I'm playing Half-Life 2 on my laptop, so what does that mean? Hand cramps! Part of the reason why playing it so far has been awful is because of how I'm using it on a laptop. Shifting is horrendous, and keep in mind, I don't normally play mouse and keyboard. But I do like the game, it seems fun, and I want to eventually beat it sometime this year. I just picked this game up near the end of the year, and as for Resident Evil 4, it's fine so far. I only played the first mission where you stop the village, and it's fine. First impressions are high, but I'm not going to rank them higher than that. So, what can be against these 2 very mature rated titles then? Suika Game is a high-score puzzle game. Combine fruits into each other to get watermelon and score higher points. That's it. It's my cozy game for just chilling. No need to overthink, and sometimes I stream 8 to drop all the fruits to see where it goes. And speaking of fruits, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Because of bananas, this game is amazing. I decided after the Mario movie that, hey, I haven't beaten these games in a few years. Well, okay, Tropical Freeze I got very far on Wii U, and Country Returns I beat when I was 12, so why not? I'll give myself a refresher on these 2 games. And Tropical Freeze is an amazing game. It's like the speedrunner's version of Mario, but with a glitter instead of a blue hedgehog. And speaking of Mario, New Soup U. I beat it, and honestly, as I played through it, I sort of realized something. Everyone always complains about how which new Soup game is the best, and honestly, I think all have their merits. DS obviously was a starting point, Wii is a good multiplayer game, 2 is satisfying the core engine, and U has amazing level design. Especially when you factor in all the power-ups in this game. I also skipped nearly half the game. Then we have Punch-Out! Rather than get too far in this, it's pretty fun. Though I still question why people want a new game in this series. Punch-Out is an arcade game, and clearly I don't think many people are willing to go back to it. And as for our final 2 games, Meme Run. So fun fact, you can't get this anymore. It was on the Wii U and was taken down because it didn't have the rights to the use of said memes. But Meme Run is an endless runner. You run for as far as you can before dying. The problem is, what am I looking at? So much stuff on my screen, and honestly, why does it seem charming? It's one of those it's so bad it's good kind of games. Except the good is just goofy if anything. And that's for the other game, the Meta Quest 2. I never used VR until now, so trying it out for the first time was fun. Granted, this isn't mine, it's actually Arctic's. He brought it over, I played VR chat by myself, messed around with the UI and menus, and that's about it. I tried to overall just toy around with it and have my own fun, but that's all I can really say about it. So now we're moving up to A tier. You know, I saw this years back during an indie direct and I said out loud to myself, this looks like an edgy version of A Hat in Time. And I seem to be right because they added her smug dance into the game. But honestly, Blue Fire is like if you mix a Hat in Time and Hollow Knight. I still have yet to play Hollow Knight, as I'll play it whenever Silk Song's next shader is released, but it is a tough platformer. I played this years ago and I got stuck because I could never pay off this guy for fixing the elevator. So this time, as I waited for Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, I booted the game up and I set myself on only getting enough money to pay off the guy. Which I did, and I'm glad that's how I approached it first. There's characters in the game that seem charming, you send people to the afterlife, and the combat is very intense while giving you a lot of exploration and intense music. Honestly, this would be S tier if it weren't so short. Anyways, guns. This game is all luck based, and that is simply why I love it. Whenever I play Hero and Smash, I don't care. I'm gonna top deck and see what happens. I would like to say that I am playing the free version here. You can buy the game off Steam, but I don't feel the need to, as it plays fine enough. And from what I understand, it's not much different. The main premise is this. Every round there are a certain number of shotgun shells. You have a certain amount of charges, which represent how many shots you can take. And if you shoot yourself or get shot too many times, then you lose the game. Your goal is to both keep track of the remaining shells and shoot the shopkeeper by using items to your own personal luck. And the next game is Sonic 06. I've owned this game since 2019, and I remember the GameStop employee having a nervous look on his face as I was trying to buy it. Like I said earlier, I wanted to try and play some Sonic games that I've had yet to beat. And I wanted to at least get through 06, Shadow, and Adventure 2 to prepare for the movie. And with Project 06 getting a lot of attention at the time, I decided that in order to play Project 06, I had to beat the original. And honestly, it's not that bad. Maybe it's because I didn't run into many glitches during the game, or how I knew everything was going to go, but 06 is a good game to me. I could feel the passion and creativity as I played through this game. Yes, a lot of things are heavy, but the levels are good. And the story, I mean, it is absurd how Sonic's story in 06 is by far the weakest part, or how several people say that 06 needs a rewrite. But honest to God, 06 isn't a story you can simply fix. And if anything, I feel like all you need to do is just add more context to the story as to what certain things can or can't happen. And as for Elise, it's very simple. Just make her a Mobian. That's it. Okay, well, I played 06 to prepare for Project 06, but now I'll prepare for another remaster. I played the original I've been making on my channel to prepare for the remake, and yeah, I still loved it. This is more so me going back to a game I loved, but I still didn't want to be blinded by nostalgia whenever I got to the remake. A refresher to know whether or not the game was actually good, and it is. The camera is absolutely a nightmare, and multiple playthroughs are sometimes needed, but honestly, I'm just glad I got over my fear of the slobbers in this game, like, jeez. And then, Persona 5 Tactica. How I got over this than Strikers is beyond me. Tactica is a tactical role-playing game. It's like Fire Emblem, but this time you can actually see everything in Battlefield. And I really like how they incorporated P5 into a gameplay like this. I know several others wanted a fighting game, but this is honestly better, and like I said, I beat this before Strikers. Strikers is a fine game, but honestly, it feels both slow and overwhelmingly fast with its story. Most times the story plays itself at a nice pace, and then the other times there will be heavy story elements during the battles, where I can't hear or focus on jack shit. And it's because of that, I'm not as immersed into Strikers as much as I want to be. But Tactica does a way better job at this. Although the cutscenes are lacking with these slideshows, and doing the Persona Compendium doesn't seem as encouraging, however, they did encourage the Chatos and... yeah, that's all I need this to be A tier. But it's also because of this game I finally got to beat Mario plus Rabbids. Remember when I said, this is going to be a trend for this entire video? This is the trend I was talking about. I bought this sucker in 2018 for $10, and each year I would slowly whittle away at this game. I would constantly suggest it over and over, and yet, I had not beaten it. Well, I finally did, and it might be my favorite Mario game, period. I love the world, the gameplay is actually why I got Tactica. I think if there was a definition for a hidden gem on the Switch, it's this game. Alongside being games I've had for years, I also have Luigi's Mansion 3 and Astro Chain. Both are amazing games that I keep getting upset on how I put these games off for so long. Like, I get it. Games are more enjoyable if you take your time. But something about these two is different. Luigi's Mansion 3 is by far one of the best looking games on Switch, and Astro Chain is made by Platinum Games, which is also an amazing thing. The only problem with Astro Chain is your sibling. It really feels like you're the bystander the entire time, and then you have a sibling that just... it leaves no satisfaction whenever you talk to them. I need another game. Hell, I'll take another mode at this point. Is this cheating? Yes, while it sounds crazy that base Tropical Freeze is B tier and Funky Kong alone makes the game an A, it really is that good. Funky mode is easy mode pretty much, but it strives for the inner speedrunner in me. It's fun to play as Funky Kong and battle through the stage as best as you can, hopping on enemies from one after the other, and trying not to fall off to your demise. If you ask me if getting Tropical Freeze on Twitch is equivalent to Funky Kong alone, yes. And now, the main reason I hacked my Wii U in the first place. Metroid Prime. As I was just starting off Metroid Prime, that's when Nintendo announced its Prime Force trailer, and I am excited for it. I do want to try and get through all the Prime games before 4's release, but for now, just know that Prime is an amazing game to me. It is exactly why I liked Dread, but now in 3D. Those moments that make me feel like an idiot, they're still here. And now with no segue whatsoever, Shantae Have Genie Hero. A game I picked up in 2019, but alas went to the curse of not being paid for or being in the last 5 years. And it's Shantae. I enjoyed it. I do have yet to beat it, but it's rising to be a favorite of mine. So that's something. And finally, our last game in A tier, Shadow the Hedgehog. All I can say is, fuck the Maria levels. Everything else I really enjoy, and I'll say it, this is a damn good game. I loved going through it, and so far my favorite levels have been Lava Shelter, River Canyon, and Digital Circuit. Woo! I've prepared for something maybe 3 for a reason. And now to go straight into C tier, where I hopefully won't piss off a single person. I don't get Pikmin. As someone who's heard so many good things about Pikmin, I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll try it, but I just don't see the fun in it. I'm playing the first game, which I know a lot of people will say how I should start off for Pikmin 3 or 4, but frankly, I prefer to go in order for games. Pikmin isn't a bad game, I just don't really see the value for me personally. I might try the other games eventually, but this one is just not doing it for me. Well, while I decided to beat Pikmin, I did beat Mario. The game that started everything with Nintendo. It's not even as good as people say it is. Because let's be entirely honest, Mario 1 is only really important and loved because it was the start of Nintendo and how it did for the game industry. That's all it has. It's the impact and less of the game. The game is fine, but I'm not going to go out of my way to play it again. It's Mario, and that's all I can say about it. Well, along the year, I got to play some bad games, and honestly, some aren't that bad. Mario Party 9 and 10 are games that, while they are low points in the series, I personally don't mind them as much. 9 is kind of the better game as it has more creativity in the achievements with the constellations. Plus, the story mode is actually pretty good. Nice how you don't have to go through it twice in order to unlock both characters. And then 10 is fine with Bowser Party. I definitely see the problem, but they're not ungodly terrible. Alright, come on. I need a bad game to make this list interesting. Sonic Free Riders. This being on the same tier as Pikmin is going to put me on the list. Free Riders, I gotta admit, it's a bad Sonic game, but it's a pretty good exercise game, because let's be real. 8% of people who are trying to play this game are half-assing every movement and obviously are trying to go into this game with the mindset of how it's a Sonic game, not a Connect game. And who boy do I have the comparison to backing up as to why this game isn't as bad as people say it is. Don't treat this game like a Sonic game. Treat it like Ring Fit Adventure. Stretch, get plenty of water, wear shorts, and clear off enough room for you to look like an idiot. On the other hand, I play Donkey Kong Country Returns, and why would they announce the HD remake? It's like, no, I'm not buying the remake. I just beat the base game. Seriously, I forgot how difficult this game can be, and At first, I was trying to go for all of the collectibles, but near the end, I was like, nope, I'm not doing this. And now, Sonic Lost World. Again, a game I got years ago, only to finally beat it years later. Lost World is sort of a meh Sonic game. It's not bad, but it certainly isn't that good either. The story is boring, the levels are like Mario Galaxy, we've all heard the jokes, but Lost World just seems extremely lacking. It's bearable, but I do not plan on going back to it soon. And now, for the last game that's gonna put me on a list. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I do not get the hype out of this game. The speed stages are fun, the mental simple running and mashing the beat button, and treasure hunting can fucking die. I spent so many hours being frustrated over how I would play one speed level, a mech section, a treasure hunting level, and then another mech level, and then play another mech level before getting a speed level. And then when you think I was just playing what is this? I know that generally speaking that everyone has a fair amount of stages, but when Sonic's is the fastest, taking up to 3 minutes while Knuckles and Tails take up to over 7, it kind of doesn't matter that everyone has an even amount. S tier. So, as you can see, something I did a lot this year was trying out other game series. I wanted to play a lot of games I wanted to try, or just in general expand my taste. Getting into Half-Life 2 ever since Evo set that standard, but sort of going back to finally trying whatever classics like the first Mario game and NSA2. Because after a while of playing the same Nintendo stuff, I wanted to play other games. And one of the games I'm extremely thankful I ended up with was Portal 2. And now I know what it's like to ask for Portal 3. But can we really go further? Portal 2 is a 10-out game for me because it really sets a good balance of what I like in a game. A good story, short gameplay, amazing comedy, ambience, and making my brain think really hard. If you don't know what Portal is about, it's simple. You go through test chambers with a portal gun, try to interact with the environment, and use the orange and blue portals to make it to the goal. And Portal 2 specifically expands the world of Portal. I've already seen the first game, even though I would like to get back into it, but Portal 2 is amazing for its immersiveness. Hearing Cave Johnson after the fall is definitely one of my favorite moments in gaming history. And the partnership with GLaDOS is something I loved and deeply respected as she was the main villain of the last game. And lemons.
Alright, I've been thinking. When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back. Get mad! I don't want your damn lemons! What am I supposed to do with these?
Take the lemons.
Demand to see life's manager. Make life rue the day it thought it could give Cave Johnson lemons. Do you know who I am? I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down with the lemons.
Oh, I like this guy.
I'm gonna get my engineers to invent a combustible lemon that burns your house down.
Burn his house down. Burning people. He says what we're all thinking.
Next up is probably one of the best games of all time, even though it's cheating because it's a fan game. Project 06. I know that counting a fan game can be considered cheating, but let me have this one. Like I said, I decided to beat the original 06 before playing the family remaster. Constantly getting P06 on my YouTube timeline and watching the Create Box's video certainly prompted me to play the game. And after playing the original, I'm glad I did because the improvements go from 10 to 200. I still enjoy Sonic 06, but Project 06 is definitely what makes it shine to the public. I could go on a list of what I absolutely love about this game. Super Sonic being implemented, the score system okay, this is gonna be a long one. Super Sonic being implemented, the score system taking into account my brain thinking on what order to kill enemies as well as the best route. Saber's powers being amplified beyond the scope of the original game to where Tropical Jogo is broken in half. The light speed dash being on Y/triangle, homing radicals. Seriously, take notes, SA2. The in-game cutscenes, Tails having a swipe attack, Omega's Gatling guns, everyone controlling much better, the moon getting pissed on, environments like Wave Ocean at sunrise, Color City at night, and Flame Course at night, Shadows inhibitor rings, and the Chaos Zero cameo. I could go on with stuff like this. The Easter eggs, human options, and the best design for the adventure formula. If you want to know why I said 06's formula is the best of the series, I'll just put this clip from Bakery Box 12.
They knew they couldn't give everyone a full arc, there's just not enough time for that. And does this really look like a game that could handle more? But they could give them a moment to shine. A brief dedicated space that does them justice and wraps up before it has a chance to get old. It's sort of broken up into teams again. Tails and Knuckles will only appear in Sonic's story, Rouge and Omega in Shadows, Blaze and Amy in Silvers. The Hedgehogs even cross over somewhat too, but the key takeaway here is that all of these encounters are short. By employing such brevity, they could scatter these moments all throughout the game to give everyone a piece of the pie, while still keeping the focus on the main protagonist. It's precisely what I talked about in my mock speed video, and seems to be an attempt at a compromise to try and appease both sides of the audience. Those who like playing as Sonic's friends, and those who don't. What they've chosen is a respectfully minimalist approach where they're still included, but their screen time is cut down to more of an 80-20 split. Some may be disappointed that their favorite side character doesn't share the spotlight, but I think even they will be understanding when they consider just how many characters there are. At the same time, the people who weren't so fond of those other styles will likely be far more tolerant now that there's no risk of fatigue. Because let's be real, even the people who hate, say, the hunting stages, they're not complaining in Wild Canyon or Pumpkin Hill. With those beats, how could you? It's when they get to Aquatic Mine and Death Chamber where the screams of anguish take flight. When it's this quick, they don't even have time to register a complaint. In fact, some stages can be a bit on the longer side, so switching to a new face for a minute can often be a nice refresher. And who knows, maybe under this downsized structure, they might even come to appreciate the gameplay change-ups more than if they played a larger role. I think a lot of these subgenres work better as brief get-in, get-out minigames. They don't usually have the same degree of depth as Sonic, so keeping it short prevents any shallowness from showing.
Project 06 is literally the best Sonic game, and it's not even official. Yes, all of those haters who say 06 is a bad game, try this out. And now, the official remaster comes. Epic Mickey Rebrushed is exactly what a remake should be, or at least 9% of the time. I only have a few small complaints, like how sometimes skipping cutscenes won't remember them as open in the pause menu, not having as many unlockable costumes, no option to at least replay the past boss fights, how bland the new credits look, some content orphanage game isn't in, and how only the Clock Tower boss fight has a new gimmick added, but all those shortcomings are just small nitpicks. The game is still just as fun as it was on the original Wii I played as a kid, and now I've evolved. I've dedicated so much time to this game, so many countless hours and weekends put into this game, to the point where I even speedran the game. This is an amazing remaster. And now for one of my biggest games I wanted to try. Guilty Gear Strive. So, in 2019, I randomly saw my friend streaming on Twitch, playing this game, and my eyes were just wide-eyed as I looked directly at Happy Chaos with Robbie Damon voicing him as I said, out loud, to myself, I want that game now. The problem was that since I didn't own a good enough PC or one console, I couldn't play it at the time. Well, I have a PS5 now. I bought the game along with Heavy Chaos, and this is so fucking hard, but that's why I like it. I'll admit, it's difficult. It's challenging. But considering I chose one of the hardest characters to learn, I feel like I'm doing way better than most others. Especially when you consider that I've been playing Smash Bros. For all my life. The only problem I have with this game is the online. I don't have PS Plus. I don't use the PS5 enough to play online, nor do any of the games really rely on online. So I mainly just, stick to the arcade mode, as well as occasionally watch the story mode, where I wish it had far more interactivity. Arcade mode at least saves this for me when I'm not able to have access to the main stuff everyone talks about. This is like if you bought Splatoon 2 or 3 without having a Switch Online membership. You can still do a bunch of things, but at what cost? Otherwise, this is an amazing game. Although, I am frankly upset that right as soon as I bought this game, that's when they announced it's coming to Switch. God damn it. Happy Chaos is obviously my main, but I've also been trying out May, and eventually I want to try Bridget and Jacko whenever I get that DLC. But man, Happy Chaos is literally why I bought this game. I made duties in Splatoon, so you're expecting me to not main the dual wielder? I just love gunslingers. Which brings us to Xemnas Zone Zero. And many of you would think I got into this game because of the girls, but no! It turns out fucking Billy got me into this game. The gunslinger that's full of Deadpool energy with a sub of P5, this guy got me into the game. And here's my thing, right? I don't typically like free-to-play games anymore. The only one I really love is Rocket League, and that's because I definitely paid for it before it went free. Fortnite is also kind of fun, but I just rarely play it nowadays. And I also sort of despise gacha games too. It's why I despise so much of Genshin and Honkai that I just don't bother playing them. But Billy struck something in me that made me want to play ZZZ more than ever. For one, his trailer actually showed gameplay. It was highly edited, but it was gameplay. His personality was amazing. I loved the animations of Stretch and Stretch were amazing. And the cinematic environment I loved. And when I bought the game, I was on a major grind. I would play daily, checking in on my stats, see what missions there were, what characters I got. Even simply roaming around the city and listening to music was a vibe that I loved. This game consumed my brain. And it's funny, but they give you the best two characters from the very start. This is my squad. I always have Andy and Billy, or sometimes swapping one of them out for other two characters. But otherwise, Kaneda, Sakaku, Soldier 11, Seth, and eventually I want Lighter and Nikomata. Honestly, my main problem in the game is the story. It's not that bad, but man, for a game that marketed itself with just high over-the-top expressions, but meanwhile over half the game the cutscenes are just slideshows, pains me. And also, why give me dialogue options when there's only one option to select? I get how it's meant to let you as the player feel in control of Bell or Wise, but this is just ridiculous. And the pose are garbage. Fuck UW engines. It's still a fine game. I know a lot of people have problems with Hoyoverse and people despise free-to-play games and gacha titles, but if there's one gacha game you should play, it's this. And I'm lucky enough, it got me encouraged to finally play Jet Set Radio. After years of seeing Beat and Sega Racing and hearing the music, I finally got to play it, and it's amazing. Well, my game which sucks ass. I certainly enjoyed my time playing this game. I love the city, the punk-like theming, and music is absolutely amazing. I finally got to understand the concept of love, and our final game in S tier, Prop Hunt. I had seen so many videos of Markiplier and Jacksepticeye playing this, and it's funny time I did too. I've had a lot of fun playing this. If you haven't seen my videos of them, please do, because I really enjoyed the time I had making them and experiencing them with my friends. So those were some of my favorite games. And now for my two least favorites. Honestly, it was around the end of the year that I realized, wow, I gotta play some actual bad games or else this video is gonna be very boring. And honestly, it's why I decided to try Mario Party 9, 10, and Free Riders. But like I said, I grew up playing the two party games. And Free Riders, I went into the expectation that it wasn't going to be a virus game. It was going to be like Ring Fit, so I treated it like it. But as for the two worst games I played this year, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash and Sonic Unleashed. Mario Tennis was literally me seeing Scott the Watch's video and saying, wait, can it really be that bad? And it was. I got bored literally 5 minutes into the game, and I'm glad I have my video for this because it would have been a huge waste of money. But I know what you all are thinking. Sonic Unleashed? And yes, I call it Unleashed to state the difference. I own the Wii version, and it is far from what I enjoy about Sonic. I can sort of understand why a lot of people hate motion controls, because this game is a bad example of that. I don't plan on beating the game because this was a major disappointment. But this video isn't over, because now we have S+. S+ is gonna be deep. A lot of games below have been some of my favorite games for sure, but these next three really hit home for me as for not only being my favorite games of the year, but in my top 10 games of all time. And the first game is Metal Gear Rising Revengance. I won't lie, this was a random pickup. Last Christmas I started to see more of the memes around the game, but one in particular caught my eye. So when I eventually looked up the full song, it blew my mind. Why was this amazing heavy metal full of guitar song a meme? This was a meme? And so I had to know more and play the game myself. I asked it for Christmas, and none of my family got me the game. Actually, not a single person got me any game. Except for Arctic, who got me the game himself. If you've seen my videos before, you know that Arctic Bright is my best friend. We hang out a lot, and I am notorious for getting him games every Christmas, despite his family not doing such a thing. I spoiled the dude. I got him Ghostbusters, P5 Royal, Animal Crossing, Pokemon, Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Cuphead mug, and this past Christmas I got him a copy of his favorite game of all time, Mario Sunshine, and a physical copy of Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. I've done a lot, so it's ironic that he got me the only game I got for that Christmas. Sure, you can make the argument that I technically got 80 games because of the one time choice by Wii U, but cheap plastic is my specialty. Anyways, I put Mega Rising in and it became a top 30, which slowly became my top 10, and my love for it has grown more since. It is not a game I expected would be one of my favorites, as it's been consistent throughout this entire year. Metal Gear Rising is a short hack and slash spin-off from the main Metal Gear Solid series. Lots of blood, lots of violence, and a lot of memes. The story is something I really enjoy, rather than Sam's interactions out of a lot, and Blade Wolf as a character I enjoy so much now. He's actually become a odd comic character for me. Which is weird, right? I have Mio, Futaba, Manline, Shadow, Kirby, Pit, and then Blade Wolf. And as if you couldn't tell, this game's soundtrack is amazing. Actually, it's not amazing. It's fucking amazing. This entire game has been my hyperfixation throughout the entire year. I've snuck this OST into videos, made references, memes, putting the music into other medias like ZZZ and Shadow Generations. And I don't think I need to mention the montages. If Amelie was my awakening, then my videos have potential. Rising's music awakened that my videos are actually good. And if you're wondering, these are my main songs for the game. I think you know what happens now. Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. And yes, it's crossed because I don't like Sonetto. Sue me. This, to me, was the most important game of the year to me. This game literally went from me hating on it on release to maybe even preferring it over Sonic Unleashed. I didn't even think that was possible. As far as story, it's as deep as a Sonic game can get with its story. Shadow gets sucked with the time meter around the same time as Sonic, goes through his own past while Black Doom happens to be messing around and making a plan to conquer the world again. Simple stuff, and I like how Black Doom is incorporated into the game's story through levels and other various methods. I did miss out on the 3-day early access, which I still think is a crummy thing to do. These types of accesses aren't real. You're basically paying more to experience the game the day it would normally release, and if you don't want to dodge spoilers, you have to pay up. I did eventually get the expansion, but most of it is worthless to me. The thing I loved the most was how there were 50 songs you could swap out, and the Tio skin is neat. Although, I find it odd how so many people say that this design is lacking in a very unfinished model. It's like, guys, you realize there's already a finished model in the game, right? As far as gameplay, I think Shadow Generations is a good compromise for what I like in a Sonic game. Part of the reason I love Unleashed were a few things. One was because it was still a points-based system. It didn't matter how fast you went, going your fastest will still not give you the S rank. You see speedrunners beat the stage so fast and they still get C rank. That is the reason why it's like that. I got so many comments on my Unleashed video that questions how I didn't get an S rank on my personal best. Reason? The point system. And that's why I like the strategy that comes with getting as many rings and destroying as many enemies to get up my score. Unleashed also feels very fast, with the gameplay heavily reaction based, and it's a very hard game. While Shadow Generation isn't really that, it still feels like a good compromise. The speedrun aspect has now been boiled down to how fast can you use Chaos Control and what route are you going to take to use it as many times as possible. The strategy in planning the route for which Chaos Control captures to get, which enemies to beat in order to get Chaos Control, and how fast you can do all this is why I love Shadow Generations. It appeals to my inner speedrunner, and it's clear I had 3 months where I presented nothing but Shadow Generations content. I was debating whether or not to get Astrobot or Shadow Generations, and I ultimately chose Shadow Generations because I thought it would be more important to me if I played it. Not that Astrobot is bad, I would love to play it, thank god I won Game of the Year, but Shadow Generations released at the perfect time for me. Over the past 9 years or so, I have been hitting the series non-stop. It became my new punching bag, and in some cases it still is. The past 9 years to me, Sonic has been so bland, generic, boring, and Sega releasing Sonic Forces, Coast Ultimate, and Frontiers back-to-back as my most hated games of all time, it personally hurt me, and I was about done. I was literally about to throw in the towel. I didn't care for the IDW comics, the mobile games, collaborations, Team Sonic Racing was meh, Murder of Sonic I didn't even know about, along with Superstore and Dream Team. And everything else around the franchise I was just done with. I gave myself the limit that the last thing I would see from Sonic in terms of being up to date on was the third movie. And right along then, we get announced Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. And while I was not willing to see it at first, due to the trauma of how buggy and glitchy Coast Ultimate was, it got better. And then I pre-ordered the game. And now, I absolutely loved it. The Doom powers, Metal Overlord gave me chills as my favorite boss fight, Mephiles got me pumped, I did the Porty dubbed, which is still being worked on, and I got excited for Forces and Frontiers levels? This game released what I consider to be in the worst year of my life, and it saved my life. It wasn't that I was willing to do stupid things myself, but this is what made my year a whole lot more bearable. Just please, Sega, make more DLC for this game. Or add more music at least. If you're not gonna put in the 3S stages, at least give us the music. But despite all of this, Shadow Generations was not my game of the year. And honestly, my game of the year would be a game I have not talked about much on the channel at all. A game that made its way into my top 5 favorite games of all time. And they can all be described as my love for video game music. Hi-Fi Rush is my personal game of the year. I wanted an Xbox Series for this, and it just got ported to the PS5. And I loved it. I loved every second I had with this game. There is not a single time I remember not smiling. Hi-Fi Rush is like if you combined the Roadhog stages from Unleashed, but made it a rhythm game. And as someone who never really cared for rhythm games, I love this because it's exactly what I prefer. Most times rhythm games are just DDR, or are very still. But Hi-Fi Rush is a game that is so full of action and comedy. I prefer this over every other rhythm game. And as a kid, I had always imagined battle sequences in my head whenever I listened to music. That meme? Yeah, that's actually a thing that happened. And Hi-Fi Rush is exactly what happens with that. I love the characters, the environments, and especially the music. Music has always been a part of my soul. And it's why my heart has a beat. And there we go. That was every single game I played in 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe to like, comment, and maybe even subscribe if you want to. And a little small thing, but this is all off script. There's no script. This is all just me rambling, so apologies if I stutter a lot. But this has been in the works for a while, and it's partially why Astrobot isn't on here, but don't worry, Astrobot is an amazing game. Honestly, it would be S tier for me. It's just not, I don't know, Astrobot is amazing. I love it, and I'm still going to make a series of it. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, there will already be an episode of it. I don't know. I have so many projects to work on, but I wanted to at least get this one done because it's me ranking every game it's me making a it's a ranking video of last year, so I might as well do it now in January. But this is my small little update where I have so many videos I want to make, and there are some videos that I have made, I just haven't gotten them done yet. So like, I currently have a poorly dubbed of Shadow Generations. I have a Astrobot playthrough. That's all gonna happen. I have a top 40 games montage, which I might end up doing a top 50, but I'm not sure yet. I may do 40, and hopefully I will get to 500 subscribers. And I think what I'm gonna do is that once I reach 500, I'm gonna try and make a video of the origin of my 305 name. But if I'm, well, because I was gonna make a video, or like I had the plan that when I reach when I reach 500 on whatever, on YouTube, that I would make a Q&A, but I don't know, that seems a bit too tacky, tacky, and I feel like that's way too similar to what my friend did. Her name is Jen. She's also really cool. But yeah, I have so many videos I want to do, but I wanted to at least get this one done and over with. I know I'm rambling a lot, so I don't want to take that much more of your time. But yeah, I have a lot. there's a lot. But to basically, I guess, try to summarize it, I have so again, I have Astrobot to do. I have the poorly dubbed to do as well. Of Shadow Generations to edit. I do have a few other videos. The top 40 games. I have 2 Splatoon videos with that I did with friends, and there's maybe some other stuff like a 6 stuff. I don't know yet, but yeah, this has been a long video in the making. Oh yeah, and yeah, the whole Slack on Ace ranking video that I've been working on for months. Like, I swear, like, if this video comes out, like, if that video comes out in August, then it would be a year of development, because that's been in the works since August. But hopefully that will be my next project that I will hopefully work on. It's so tiring to work on. But thank you all for watching. I know I've been rambling a lot, and I will see you all whenever. Let me know what your favorite game of the year was, or what choice words you have in mind. I don't know. And I will talk to y'all whenever. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very tired. Stay safe, stay awesome, and Patrick is not gonna be here. And I'll see y'all whenever.